Part 1.
You will hear a telephone conversation between a customer and the receptionist at a courier company. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 8. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 8.
Good morning, this is Sam speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, my name's Marco and I'm calling to inquire about sending some goods to Canada.
No problem. What's your full name, please, Marco?
My middle name is Pronto, that's P-R-O-N-T-O.
Sorry, Marco, just your surname will be fine. That's all we need for the form.
It's Cebriana Tori, that's C-E-B-R-I-A-N-A-T-O-R-I.
Great, and your address, please?
I live on Grimsby Place.
Grimsby Place, okay?
But wait, you mean the address from where the goods will be collected?
Right.
In that case, I better give you my mum and dad's address. My stuff is there temporarily until I make the move. Same street, house number 25 in Grimsby, and the postcode is GB8 6BY.
Now, Marco, tell me what you'd like to have shipped.
I'm moving to Canada, so I have a fairly big container for my belongings, you understand.
Of course. What are the dimensions?
It's 2 meters high, 1.5 across, and 3 meters long.
My, that's huge.
Tell me about it. Moving day is going to be a nightmare.
And what will this container contain then?
Well, to start with, there's my television. I'm also taking a brand new sofa bed with me, as well as my fridge, freezer and home computer.
I see. That all sounds rather valuable. Do you know the total value of the goods in the container?
Yeah, I estimate about £5,000.
Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 9 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 9 to 10.
Excellent. Now, shipping to Canada is not by any means cheap these days, so this is going to cost you £500?
That would nearly pay for a new TV and sofa.
It's a lot of money, isn't it? But as I said, shipping is an expensive business. How do you intend to pay then, Marco?
Credit card, okay?
Fine. I assume you are the card holder.
Actually, it's my sister's account. Mine is a little tight for me at the moment with the expense of the move, so it's either a case of ask sis or ask the parents. Which would you choose?
I see what you mean. Okay, I'll take the details in a moment and confirm the collection date. But first, let me just ask you a few questions about your move to Canada. The Canadian government requires all shipping companies to carry out a thorough check before agreeing to ship goods into the country. And part of that check is a personal profile of our customers, you see. So, why are you moving to Canada?
My girlfriend's Canadian. I'm going to live with her.
And what will be your employment status over there?
Well, I'm travelling on a working holiday visa, but I hope to secure a work-sponsored visa shortly after arrival.
I see. A holiday visa?
No, a working holiday visa. That allows me to stay in the country for 12 months as opposed to 60 days with a holiday visa.
Okay, no.
That is the end of Part 1.
You have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turn to Part 2. Part 2.
You will hear a bank representative briefing a group of customers on how to register for online banking. First, you will have time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
We're very pleased to announce the launch of our new online service. Now, though it might sound a little daunting for those of you who are not so familiar with the internet, let me assure you that the registration process is very simple indeed. I'm going to go through it with you step by step today, and afterwards there'll be a question and answer session should you have anything you would like to ask. The first thing you must do before you can gain access to our online services is send us the profile request form over the internet through our online portal, making sure you attach a scanned copy of your passport to go with the form. Then you'll have to wait for verification within 5 business days. Once you're verified, you'll then be sent your own personal verification code number, and you'll need to input this on the link I've posted at the top of the handout I've given you. www.hcbs.com/ACC setup. Once you enter the verification code, you'll be taken to the registration page, where you'll be asked to complete and send through your online account registration form. Having done that, you'll then receive an email message asking you to confirm that you're the owner of the email address you have supplied. Simply log into your email account and follow the link in the message you've been sent to the account update page. You will then be prompted to enter the details of your bank cards and all accounts held at the bank to complete your online profile. Once you've linked your cards and accounts to the profile, click the Update button on the top left of the screen. This will take you to the activation page. One click of the activation button and you're then set up to go and can start using your online accounts immediately.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
When you've done all that, you'll be able to log in and out of your account as you please. I'd like to draw your attention to the screen now for a moment. What you're seeing is an example of a member's online profile. This is the welcome page. Centre top, a list of your accounts and balances will always be displayed. You can click on any account on the list to see more details or customize a statement. When you want to log out, simply click the button at the top left of your screen. Directly under it, you'll see a button named Edit. Clicking on this will take you to your profile page where you can amend your customer details as often as you like. While you are navigating, should you ever want to return to the welcome page, simply click the Home button located at the top right of the screen and you'll be taken back to the welcome page immediately. Next, take a look at the drop-down action menu just below the centre of the screen. This gives you quick access to the online transactions portal, where you'll have the freedom to effect online transactions at the click of a button. One last thing I'd like to point out is the fact that there should always be a lock icon on both the bottom right and left of the screen. This confirms that your connection to our server is secure and safe. If the lock is ever missing from your screen, log out immediately and report it to our customer service team, who are available 24 hours a day at 1-800-365 365.
That is the end of part 2.
You have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turn to part 3. Part 3.
You will hear a discussion between two university students on a seminar they have just attended. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Isn't it ironic that at a seminar on public speaking and presentation skills, we're left so underwhelmed by the oratory skills of the so-called expert up on stage?
Maybe we should lower our expectations a bit, Mike. After all, everyone is susceptible to nerves, especially with an audience as critical as us. Well, you anyway.
She's a professional. She's supposed to do this for a living, Alma. I feel totally let down, and I'm asking myself exactly what I'm supposed to have gained as a result of spending this time here.
Look, forget about her presentation skills, or lack thereof, for a minute. What about what she had to say? Did you listen to any of that?
How could I, when she kept fidgeting and moving about so? I was so distracted by her antics, I couldn't focus on anything else, to be honest with you.
I don't know if you can blame her totally for your not absorbing anything that's been said in the last half hour, Mike. You're a pretty awful listener at the best of times.
Oh, come on. She should be able to hold my attention for 30 minutes. It's not like the talk lasted 2 hours or something. Mind you, it sure did seem like it.
Stop it now. You're being overly critical, and that's just not fair. I took some notes and was actually impressed by some of what was said. I'm definitely going away having learned something and feeling like my time wasn't totally wasted.
Emphasis on the not totally bit.
Oh, Mike, when will you learn? You know, sometimes we only get out of things what we put in. Did it ever occur to you that had you given this woman a chance, you too might have actually learned something?
All right, Alma, go easy.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Well, look, we have to fill in this feedback form on her performance now, and I want you to be kind, okay?
Yeah.
First question, use of equipment. It says, do you think the presenter made adequate use of the equipment at her disposal?
What's a 1?
1 is basically terrible.
1 it is, then.
Stop it, Mike! She used the projector screen, had a nice PowerPoint prepared in advance, and had some sound files to liven things up too.
Yeah, it was a real hoot.
Look, if you're not going to do this properly, I'll fill it in on my own.
OK, look, seriously, I guess I appreciated the prep work that went into the presentation. And she did make good use of the room's IT facilities, so it wasn't as bad as I first made out. But I'm not totally enamoured with her performance in that department either.
Me neither, actually. That's a fair assessment at last, Mike. She made an effort, but I would have preferred it if she had used the interactive whiteboard, perhaps, as well as the projector. Her presentation might then have felt, well, more interactive, I guess. A decent effort, though. Agreed?
Agreed.
What about preparation?
Well, I think we can both see that a lot of effort was put in that respect. Can't falter there, can you?
Not at all. How about clarity of speech and effectiveness at getting the message across?
Well, look, you thought she spoke very clearly and that a lot was learnt from the seminar. I, on the other hand, learned more from my 2-year-old nephew's utterances of nonsensical broken English.
Mike!
Let me finish. So perhaps the truth is somewhere in the middle. Agreed?
I'll settle for that. Satisfactory then on both counts.
Execution is the bit I want to get to, Alma.
Oh, here we go. Was it really that bad?
Oh, come on. You have to admit it was pretty boring. Half the theatre had emptied by the time she finished.
I can't really argue with you there, Mike. Clearly she failed to engage her audience, which is a big black mark for her execution. For once, Mr. Critical gets his way.
Mr. Critical has been very kind to her in his feedback so far, though, wouldn't you say?
You're a real saint, Mike. Now, what about the...
That is the end of part 3.
You have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turn to part 4. Part 4.
You will hear part of a talk given by a professor for a marketing course. In the talk, he compares different makes and models of a type of car called Super Mini, for which the students will work out advertising strategies for their final projects. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Now, sales of Super Minis. And if you don't know, Super Minis are a particular class of small but luxurious car. Sales have taken off in the past few years, and there are a number of factors behind this trend. One of the primary reasons is the price of fuel. Super Minis are relatively economical, so customers are turning to them as a means to reduce the fuel bill. The second reason is also a financial one. Both tax and insurance are very reasonable where Super Minis are concerned. Then there is the fact that Super Minis don't lose their value as quickly as larger cars, not to mention the ease with which the narrow city streets can be navigated. These advantages are present across the board in all makes of Super Mini. These cars have undoubtedly become desirable, and with so many available in the market now, this creates a challenge for the developers of advertisement campaigns, which is exactly why I've chosen this sector for your final projects. As you know, you'll be working in teams, and each team will be allotted one of these brands by lottery, but we'll take care of that next week. In today's lecture, I'm going to give you an overview of the different brands. I'd suggest you keep notes, perhaps make yourselves a table, because you'll need the information as you develop your project, both for your brand and that of your, shall we say, competitors. So, let's move on to the brands and their differences. One of the most popular brands of Super Mini is the Ford Fiesta, loved for its affordability and for its competitively low running costs. The Fiesta's popularity also ensures that it holds its value on the second-hand car market too, though one major flaw we have identified in its design is the fact that the boot is extremely cramped. The Vauxhall Corsa is another fine example of a Super Mini. It is light to steer, offers great all-round visibility, is relatively easy and very economical to drive. But if you think all this sounds too good to be true, then unfortunately you're right. The advantages of this little runaround don't come cheap, and the Corsa is considered comparatively pricey when judged against the other options available. So you might want to think about particular buyers to whom you could market this. Now, France's contribution to the Super Mini market is the Renault Clio. Known for its exterior styling, the Clio is also extremely reliable and well equipped. That said, there are some serious weaknesses too. For a start, the Clio is extremely cramped inside. This problem is only compounded by the Clio's other major flaw, the unbearably awkward driving position. Volkswagen, on the other hand, achieved a great deal when developing the Polo for the Super Mini market. The Polo is a very enjoyable drive and is reliable and, perhaps just as importantly, inexpensive to repair when breakdowns do occur. This is largely thanks to the car's excellent build quality. The only flaw, really, is the fact that the Polo's engine is underpowered, which is all the more disappointing when you consider that it ticks so many other boxes. Another car attempting to make headway in the Super Mini market is the Peugeot 203, a car that is renowned for its stylish interior and which pleasantly surprises many a new owner once they realise how spacious it is too, being particularly generous in that respect in the boot area. What are its drawbacks? Well, the driving position leaves a massive amount to be desired, not to mention the fact that the basic model has virtually no extras or special features. Far too low spec for my liking. The truth is,
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.